If you're over 60 and you've started waking up 2, 3, even 4 times a night just to use the bathroom, I need you to listen carefully because what's happening inside your body right now might be further along than you think. Left unaddressed, an enlarged prostate doesn't just steal your sleep, it can quietly progress for years while you assume it's just getting older. By age 60, roughly half of all men already have it. By 70, that number climbs to 70%. By 80, it's over 80%. Those aren't just numbers. That's nearly every man you know. Here's exactly what we're covering today, so you know where this is heading. We're going to walk through 5 foods in order, each targeting a different piece of what actually drives prostate enlargement, hormones, inflammation, circulation, and cellular repair, and I'll explain the biology behind every single one so you understand why it works, not just that it works. We're building toward one final nut, a genuinely surprising clinical result out of Vienna that I promise is worth the wait. But that last food only works as well as it does because of everything we cover first, so don't skip ahead. If you're new here, this channel is built around exactly this kind of research, translated in plain language, so hit subscribe now before we start, so you don't lose this list halfway through. A published study in the journal Nutrition and Cancer, led by researchers at the University of California, San Francisco, found that men who regularly consumed certain anti-inflammatory dietary compounds had a 32% lower rate of prostate growth over 5 years compared to men who didn't. 32% from food alone. Before we get into the list, I want you to do something. Drop your age in the comments right now and tell me honestly, are you dealing with a weak stream, urgency, or waking at night? I read every comment, and knowing what this community is actually experiencing helps me bring you the research that matters most. Let's walk through this in order, starting with what's happening inside the gland itself. After 60, something shifts. Oxidative stress, essentially cellular damage caused by unstable molecules attacking healthy tissue, accelerates inside the prostate. That damage triggers inflammation, and inflammation sends a growth signal to prostate cells telling them to multiply faster than they should. Picture a thermostat stuck permanently on heat. The growth signal never shuts off. That's the mechanism driving enlargement, and it's also the target for nearly everything on this list. The first food that interrupts this process is something most men already eat, but rarely connect to prostate health: cooked tomatoes. The Harvard School of Public Health followed more than 47,000 men for over a decade in what's known as the Health Professionals Follow-Up Study. Men who ate cooked tomato products 10 or more times a week had a 35% lower risk of prostate cancer and notably lower rates of enlargement compared to men who rarely ate them. The compound responsible is called lycopene, a red pigment antioxidant that concentrates in prostate tissue at higher levels than almost anywhere else in the body. That alone suggests the gland has evolved to use it specifically. Lycopene works by neutralizing the oxidative triggers that keep that inflammatory thermostat stuck on. Here's the part that matters for how you actually eat it. Cooking tomatoes in olive oil dramatically increases how much lycopene your body can absorb, because lycopene is fat-soluble. 2 tablespoons of tomato paste or half a cup of marinara cooked in olive oil 4 to 5 times a week is the amount the Harvard research supports. Pairing it with a vitamin E source like almonds or sunflower seeds strengthens the effect further, since the 2 nutrients work through complementary antioxidant pathways. Now here's a food most men treat as a garnish when it should be treated as medicine: pumpkin seeds. A clinical trial published in the Journal of Medicinal Food found that men over 50 with symptomatic enlargement who took pumpkin seed oil daily for 12 months saw a 30% improvement in their standardized urinary symptom score compared to placebo. The mechanism here involves a group of compounds called delta-7 sterols, plant compounds that block an enzyme called 5-alpha reductase. That enzyme converts testosterone into a more potent hormone called DHT, dihydrotestosterone, which is the primary hormonal driver telling prostate cells to keep expanding. A common prescription drug works by blocking this same enzyme. Pumpkin seeds do it nutritionally, less powerfully, but meaningfully, and without the side effects some men experience on that medication. After 65, this pathway becomes more active in aging tissue, which is part of why enlargement tends to accelerate specifically around that age. The daily target is 1 to 2 tablespoons of raw, unsalted pumpkin seeds, ideally in the morning, since raw seeds preserve more of the active compound than roasted ones. Pair them with a zinc-rich food, like a small serving of beef or legumes, since zinc is the mineral most concentrated in healthy prostate tissue and the one most depleted in enlarged glands. We've covered 2 so far. 3 more are coming, including the one with the single most striking clinical result on today's entire list. Next is a berry the National Cancer Institute has studied extensively, pomegranate. A study out of UCLA published in the journal Clinical Cancer Research looked at men with prostate conditions who drank pure pomegranate juice daily. Researchers tracked something called PSA doubling time, a measure of how quickly a marker called prostate-specific antigen rises in the blood, which doctors use to monitor disease progression. In men drinking the juice, that doubling time increased from an average of 15 months to over 54 months. That's nearly a 4-fold slowdown in progression from a juice. The active compounds are called punicalagins, which gut bacteria convert into a molecule called urolithin A. This molecule directly calms the inflammatory signaling that drives prostate cells to overgrow, and it also triggers a cellular cleanup process called mitophagy, where damaged components inside cells get cleared out rather than left to accumulate. After 65, this cleanup process slows down significantly, which is part of why tissue changes tend to build up with age. The target here is 4 ounces of pure pomegranate juice or half a cup of fresh seeds daily, ideally paired with full-fat yogurt containing live cultures, since a diverse gut microbiome determines how efficiently those compounds convert into urolithin A. Now, the one I promised you earlier. The nut behind that Vienna clinical trial, just 2 Brazil nuts a day. Researchers at the Medical University of Vienna found that selenium supplementation in men with an enlarged prostate produced a measurable reduction in actual gland size, confirmed by ultrasound over 12 months, along with improved urinary flow and symptom scores compared to placebo. Brazil nuts are the single most concentrated food source of selenium on Earth, with each nut containing roughly 68 to 91 micrograms. The therapeutic range researchers support is about 100 to 200 micrograms daily, meaning 2 Brazil nuts alone can cover it. Selenium works through proteins called selenoproteins, which act as an internal antioxidant defense system inside prostate cells, neutralizing oxidative threats before they trigger that inflammatory growth signal. But here's the warning, and it matters. This is not a more is better situation. More than 4 Brazil nuts daily on a regular basis can push selenium intake into toxic territory, causing hair loss, brittle nails, and neurological symptoms. 2 nuts. That's the ceiling, not the starting point. Keep them refrigerated to prevent their high-fat content from turning rancid. And now, the food with the most comprehensive evidence of anything on this list. The one addressing hormones, inflammation, circulation, and cellular repair all at once. Natural peanut butter, 2 tablespoons daily. I know how that sounds. Peanuts aren't glamorous or expensive, and that's exactly why most men dismiss them. But a study from Vanderbilt University's Epidemiology Center, analyzing dietary data from more than 70,000 men over 7 years, found that those with the highest peanut and peanut butter consumption had a 21% lower risk of serious prostate outcomes, along with lower rates of symptomatic enlargement. Peanuts are one of the richest food sources of resveratrol, which activates genes that suppress a master inflammatory switch inside prostate tissue called NF-kappa B. When that switch stays chronically activated, which it tends to in men over 65, it drives the uncontrolled cell growth behind enlargement. Peanuts also provide a plant compound called beta-sitosterol, shown in 2 separate European clinical trials to improve urinary flow and reduce leftover bladder volume after urinating, and their arginine content supports nitric oxide production, which relaxes the muscle around the urethra, improving urination mechanically, independent of gland size. 2 tablespoons daily, ingredients listing only peanuts and salt, avoiding anything with hydrogenated oils, since those trans fats cancel out the benefit. Here's the truth underneath all 5 of these. Your prostate isn't enlarging on some fixed schedule the day you turn 60. It's a tissue responding in real time to inflammation, hormones, and what's circulating in your blood. That means it's also capable of responding to correction. If this helped, then please subscribe our channel.